Joining us now is Tucker Bounds, McCain national spokesman. Tucker, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nora.
Tucker, McCain did unveil a new economic policy today that had to do with retirees and their savings. Explain to us what it is.
Well, what he's done is he's called for an end of the requirement that requires seniors ages 70 and older to divest from their 401ks and retirement plans into the market because the market is struggling so badly. Basically, you're forcing seniors to take a loss. So he has called for the temporary suspension of that regulation, that law, that rule, so that seniors can keep more of their retirement savings at a higher value.
Let me also then ask you to respond to what Barack Obama said today. He said that the McCain campaign is trying to turn the page on the discussion of the economy, instead try to highlight his past associations and relationships, and, quote, it's easy to rile up a crowd by stoking anger and division. Is your campaign trying to stoke anger and division?
Nora, you know, I think it's a revealing comment that says more about Barack Obama than it says about our campaign. I think that whether or not whether he's argued that Americans cling to their guns or religion, or now that they're angry about the greed on Wall Street and the ineffectiveness of Washington, it shows that he just doesn't understand middle-class, hardworking Americans. I think that rural Americans don't cling to their guns and religion, and I sure as heck don't think that middle-class Americans are frustrated and angry because they're being stoked by divisions about Barack Obama's association. I think they're mad at Washington and the way that Washington's underperformed.
Tucker, let me ask you then, if the McCain campaign is not trying to turn the page in terms of a discussion of the economy, why aren't you running ads about the economy? Why are you running 100% negative ads and running and introducing new ads about a 1960s radical every day, rather than an ad perhaps on the new proposal that John McCain put forward today?
Well, Nora, we launched a new ad today about the economy this morning, and it was focusing on Barack Obama's honesty about his record. It focuses on whether he's being honest about his relationship with an unrepentant terrorist in Bel Air, and whether he's being honest about his relationship with Fannie and Freddie Mac when he stood back and shielded them from the regulation that they needed.
You also
so
talked about his association with former Commerce Secretary Bill Daley. What has Bill Daley done?
Sure. Well, that's a Republican National Committee ad. It's not our ad, but I can't say that I disagree with it. It pointed to his relationship with unrepentant terrorist Bill Ayers. It pointed to his relationship with convicted felon Tony Rezko, who helped with his wife, helped buy Barack Obama's family home in Chicago. And it also pointed to Bill Daley. I think that what it was talking about is the culture of corruption that prevails in Chicago, which is inarguably, irrefutably true. I think that anyone that's going to argue that Chicago is the pinnacle of ethics in government just must have been born yesterday, I suppose.
Tucker, finally, let me ask you about the stock market fell 700 points yesterday. It has fallen almost another 450 points today. On a conference call just a short time ago, I asked Rick Davis with your campaign why your campaign has not said anything about what's been happening on Wall Street. And I want to play that now for our viewers.
I don't know if you really want to turn a campaign into, a CNBC news show on the stock market. I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't care and aren't trying to do something about it. It's just I'm not exactly sure what you say every day.
What does that mean when Rick says, I'm not exactly sure what you say every day in terms of the stock market? Should not a presidential candidate be showing leadership and talking to the American people about what's happening in terms of their economy, the loss of investments?
Well, sure, Nora. I mean, I think I know exactly what Rick was saying when he said that it's not the job of a presidential campaign to give analysis of the stock market every day. Certainly, John McCain, even today, has talked about, the concerns and the growing frustration that we have.
President Bush mentioned it today, and Barack Obama mentioned it today.
I think what he was saying is he was talking about the overall process of a campaign, and John McCain talked about it today. In fact, he's going to talk about it again today. He talked about it yesterday, the day before. We are primarily focused on the economic crisis.
He didn't talk specifically about the huge sell-off yesterday on Wall Street or today.
He has talked specifically about the frustration that Americans have with the markets, the effect that it's having on their home loans, the effects that it's having on their pocketbooks. You know, I share Rick's sentiments here. The Americans have a clear choice that they're going to make in November, and they need to know what the proposals by both candidates are and their economic plans so that we can move forward. I think that it is absolutely defensible to say that it's not our job to every day give analysis of what the stock market is doing, but rather present our plan to fix fix the things that are going on Wall Street and Main Street. That's our job as a campaign, is to provide the choice. And I think when Americans look at what these two candidates represent, they're going to have a long pause when they see a candidate like Barack Obama, who's proposed $1 trillion in new spending, who's voted for middle-class tax increases, and frankly has only been in the Senate for 3 years and has no real record of bipartisan reform to show for it. It's a rookie in the White House at a time we can't afford it.
Tucker Bounds with the McCain campaign. Tucker, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, Nora, as always.